it's a lot of focus for me to like, I don't know, count and think for 8 seconds. So I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to, hey, look at that. That's me on the screen. I just do that every time. That works for me. Anyway, hello everyone. We're back for this is session 32 of Together Among the Stars. Yeah, take a breath so arms can cut. Anyway, yeah, I'm Rick. I'm the game master for Hammer of the Gods, and also the person who runs this chaos. And Liz, do you want to tell us who you are, since you are?
Hi, I'm Cat Lady Liz. I am. That's how I'm known on most of the socials, but I'm not so much a creator. I'm more of a getting involved with things, sort of behind the scenes ish. But I am now getting better at this sort of D&D style of thing.
I'm
having
not
had a few goes.
It just reminds me of the Monty Python. Like, I got better.
Yes, I'm getting better. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So
good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I am returning as Ranger Breckett. I almost forgot my own name then.
Ranger who starts with a letter.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, before we get started, got some announcements. First up is our sponsor for tonight is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca, use the code THEVACTER, all one word, at checkout for 15% off your order. And is it still Dark Dice or Dark Forest? Because it feels like it's been Dark Forest for a while. Either way, that's what I've got for Maggie's dice pick, because nothing bad ever happens in the woods. You'll totally not get murdered there, probably, maybe. Second up is the merch store at tinyurl.com/vacmerch, where you can get awesome stuff like Liz's shirt, all kinds of cool designs, and the new Spooktober shirts that were designed by Avi. So go check those out. Next up, it's halfway through the month of Spooktober. It's no longer October, it's just Spooktober. And we are raising money for Extra Life for Kids once again. I don't remember the number you said now, Artemis, but I think we're around halfway to our goal of 1,300. So keep it up. Money, please. Give us money to help kids. The link is in the thing, but also if you're watching this later, it is tinyurl.com/VecterExtraLife2023. And then the last announcement is the schedule. So tonight, Backpacker's Guide with Emily and Artemis is here on the Vacter at 7 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, also here, is Maple Street Trick or Treat at 8 p.m. Eastern, run by Aaron from Even Funny Games. Also featuring me, Kayla from Potions and Potpourri, Dr. Asparagus, Lee, also from Even Funny Games. Jesus. People, come watch Kids on Bikes. It'll be fun. Also Sunday, because we're just doubling up on all of our stuff because we just like doing the things. Over on DM Jeremy's channel, Aphamus, will be on Legacy of Fire at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, maybe, allegedly. Monday is Mistwalkers at 8:30 back here. Tuesday is DM Emily's game that she wrote, Ominous, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Once again, you'll see my lovely face, among others. Wednesday, Aphamus, Jer, and Sly are over on Cantrips and Coffee for the Society at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thursday is A Song of Crystal and Shadow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern back here. And as always, find the Vecter as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to pause for 2 seconds now. That's probably 2. Anyway.
Yep.
You want to do me the honor of rolling our first roll of the game?
We have to have a group hydrate and a posture check first. Otherwise Agni will shout.
I drank my bean water. It counts.
No, true. I didn't know. There you go. And I did sit up a little bit.
It counts.
Oh, great. 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of us has trouble sleeping. Again, I assume it's probably Bennett because that's usually how we do. Is the person who the one who has the issue? What is Bennett worried about?
Bennett is worried about the fact that she hasn't been let off cleaning out the unicorns ever since the what should we call it? The amoeba incident.
Yeah.
Not so very long ago. So she's very worried about, is she ever going to be allowed to actually come and do some exploring with you again?
You're just like you're just like in the horse trailer behind the griffin.
Yeah.
Just curled up trying to sleep, but it's constant Care Bear song. And it's 12 different Care Bear songs all at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All of which I am now heartily sick of.
It takes about half a second to get to that point. So,
yeah, exactly. And I've been there a long time now.
Yeah, I was going to say, weeks later, I'm sure you're having a blast.
Yeah, I feel kind of like I've done my penance now, please.
I mean, it's only a war crime in a lot of places to psychologically torture people, so it's fine.
Yeah, good. Thank you. That's okay then.
All right. And if you would roll one more time, we'll see how many cards we're going to draw on our first planet. I say our first. Sometimes we only go to one.
Yeah, 3.
3. All right. And then I also got a 3 for my discovery roll. So, we come upon suddenly the Queen of Clubs. Queen, I believe, in deep water. And clubs are plants and other immobile forms of life. Why do we land in deep water? Maybe we see something shiny, and Rory's just like, ooh, shiny. And so we start going down deep in the water, like you do. Yes, sorry, I'm calling you out already on our first card of the planet. And the shiny thing, the plant. Yeah, I'm going to say there is like massive diamond that was glinting in the sunlight. Somehow it was the water was just clear enough that the light was able to hit it, even though this is really deep in the water. But this diamond is in the center, like weirdly exactly. Like we have I don't know, whatever kind of tools it would be to measure, like you can do with your phone, where you can like hold it up and it uses the AR and it tells you how whatever words are hard. I'm totally awake right now. And yeah, it is like dead center of this massive underwater landweed patch. Breckett's just like, oh, more underwater landweed, but this one's shiny.
I don't know. It's quite, it's quite big as well.
Yeah, that's like at least Lisa Frank pony size.
Yes. Sir.
Yeah, you're best friends, I know. And Breckett is just like, well, if you want to break from the ponies, here's a suit. I was like, you want to go check it out?
Yeah. Yes, please. Anything but the ponies.
Thankfully, the ponies are still like up above. The horse trailer is not fully sealed. Well, because the ponies can breathe in, like they don't need to breathe. They can survive in a vacuum. It doesn't have oxygen, so you were just like in your suit for a very long time.
Yes.
And
well, I was.
Yeah.
Very difficult to wash those suits.
It's
never
fine.
mind.
They have the auto wash button.
Well, true. But it doesn't feel quite the same.
Yeah.
So I put on my suit for going underwater, and head out of the Griffin, doing the.
Well, normally, like, for the underwater, the Griffin stays up above, and then we have like a submersible. I don't even remember what we called it. We called it something. I should probably be writing this stuff down more often. So it is a different ship slightly. It's like like the Russian stacking dolls, but for ships.
Right. Oh, that's very good. Oh yes, yes. That's fine. Well, in that, does that mean that I'm going to get dropped from a dizzying height then, like on a roller coaster?
No, it's fine. I mean,
That's
we're
okay.
underwater. It'll balance pressure and so on.
Fine. Okay, so anyway, I am in this submersible. I am making my way gently towards the gigantic diamond thing, looking around to make sure that there isn't anything unpleasant hiding in amongst all the weed and stuff. Do I need to roll for what I find or what I do?
Sorry, I'm laughing at the comment from Athamas in chat. Make your way downtown. Yes, if you would roll your examination. And Breckett is in the submersible with you, and he's just like standing next to the door, basically the bulkhead. Like with a submarine where they have the little chamber where like you can go into it, it's full of air, and then it fills full of water.
Oh yeah.
Like you open the other.
Yeah. The
Yes.
I know what you mean. I can't.
There's a name for it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right. Ranger Rory, is that a name?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you need to get your drawing out because I don't know what I've rolled a 1.
Excellent. So if you would
paint us a word
picture. If you would paint us a word picture, though.
Airlock, that's what we're looking for.
Yes.
Thank you. That's
Artemis
exactly what we're looking for.
Artemis has the brain cell today. It's not me.
Indeed. Yes. Yeah. So
if you would, tell us, paint us a word picture of what you see.
Yes.
And yes, you Pasta shared the brain cell with you.
Yeah.
Because Kayla had mine.
Exactly. So it's we're in a it's not massively deep water, but deep enough. You've got this very shiny, very large diamond that is actually a cut diamond. It's not a rough diamond. It's a cut diamond, so it's been worked.
It's
by
you say that. That's actually
something.
I didn't even think about it, but that's exactly what I was picturing.
And it is absolutely surrounded by this weed stuff. And there's a little bit of a current going, so there's some nice wafting of said weed going on. But there is a lot of it, and it is quite dense. So I am a little concerned about what might be there, given that something has worked on this diamond. You wouldn't think that it had actually just been left.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd probably be somebody keeping an eye on it.
You would think.
I haven't yet seen anything. As we get a bit closer, it becomes more clear that it's not just shiny, it's glowing.
That's probably fine.
Probably, yeah. But again, you'd think somebody's going to have to have done something to it to make it like that.
I mean, your scuba suit probably protects from radiation, maybe?
Hope so. But anyway, you're the one in the airlock, so you're the one who's going to go out and have a look at it, aren't you?
Oh, no. Breckett was handing the suit. Breckett was like, here you go.
All right, okay. Fine. Well, I tried. So fine, I get into the airlock, and I get out and I go and have a more, and it's one of those suits that has the weights in your feet to keep you so that you can actually walk across rather than swim, because although Benet can swim,
maybe it's lead lined. It's
Yeah.
lead lined so that it protects from the radiation. So you're totally fine.
Yes, yes, that's helpful. That's really helpful. Yes, okay. So I am making my way again to the get closer to it, sort of breaking a path through the all the weed and stuff. And as I get a bit closer still, I can feel that there is actually something stopping me from getting any further.
Interesting. Like a force field?
Like a force field sort of thing. And it's making me wonder, is that the glow?
And you hear over the communicator that Breckett's like, use the force, Benet. Which, you may have seen the documentary War Stars at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a favorite of Breckett's.
Fine. So, in that case, I sort of try and shove against it a bit, but it doesn't really want to cooperate. So I then make one really huge shove and expecting to get knocked back, and in actual fact, I fall straight through it and end up on my hands and knees, even though I'm underwater.
This is giving amoeba vibes. That there's like something there.
Yes.
Had to move away in.
Yes.
Yeah. Breckett's uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. And having got through that, I'm only sort of like a couple of arm lengths away from this diamond thing. So a particular favourite game of Bennett's when she was a child was the game that I think most kids all over the place used to play, of going up to someone's door and knocking on it and running away.
Good old ding dong ditch, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I was trying to remember. That's not what it's called in the UK, but it's that thing. Yeah. So she sort of very gingerly moves up and she just sort of puts one hand out and and then runs and hopes that she's doing so with sufficient force that it'll get her back through the thing.
I love the mental image because like running underwater is basically just slow motion running.
Yes, indeed.
And Breckett just like over the loudspeaker is playing the Chariot of the Gods theme song.
Very good. Very good.
Also, for science purposes, what is Ding Dong Ditch called in the UK?
I can't remember.
I need to know now.
Knock down something.
Doesn't roll off the top.
Remember. I'm sure it's knock down ginger. That's it. Knock down ginger. That's what it's called.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes absolutely no sense to me.
No. That's why I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
there is no logic to it. But anyway, yes. So slow motion running is sufficient force, gets her back through the force field. At which point she sort of says over the intercom to Breckett, "Did anything happen?"
Oh, I was making popcorn. I forgot to look. And you can see through the porthole that he's just like got a big bowl of popcorn that he's holding up to the window so you can see it.
Fine. Save some for me, please.
Okay.
Sir. Can I come back in now?
I mean, I
I
guess.
don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable out here. There's something out here, and I don't like it.
Did you get the diamond thing?
Well, I didn't pick it up. No, I touched it just to see what would happen, and I did get
Okay,
through
well,
the force field.
we'll use the pokey arm grabber thing.
Okay. So she
And as you
turns around.
actually come into the airlock, it all the water drains out of it slowly,
Mhm.
starts to like balance out, and then you feel as it is mostly air again that the door behind you opens because Breckett's
Mhm.
standing. That he pushes the button and he's just giggling, and it just rapidly fills with water, and you're pulled back out for a second. And he's like, "Yeah, okay, you can really come in now."
Thank you, sir.
I mean, there's no way that anyone ever.
Benet is being on her very best behaviour because she doesn't want to have to go back to the unicorns. Thank you very much.
Yeah. There's no way that anyone will ever do anything to get back at Breckett for anything. No consequences.
Fine. But that's what all the sirs are about.
I mean, Breckett doesn't understand what that means, but he's not read that far in the manual that he wrote.
Oh, okay. Fine.
All right. Well, as you get back in, we'll see what our next discovery is. I guess this one would be your role if you want
A 4.
to. 4. Okay. Well, we're going to, I think, everyone's favorite place. 5 of Hearts, which is ruins in the top of a tree.
Okay. Fine. So presumably the submersible comes back up to the main ship.
I mean, in theory, or it could be an underwater tree. Could have been like
it could, couldn't it? Yeah.
Could be a flooded area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the submersible has turned itself around to go back towards where it came down into the water, and Benet suddenly goes, "Oh, look! Is that a tree underwater? That looks like a really big tree."
It's probably
And it
just
immediately starts.
weed. It's just really big water landweed, probably.
Yeah, but we'll go and have a look. For science,
Yeah.
It's odd.
Breckett hands you
again, as we get closer, it's actually your discovery, so I need to shut up.
Is it? Because I discovered
no, I dealt this time. You did it last time. I dealt this time. Sorry, don't mind me.
It's okay.
It's late afternoon here. I've been up a long time.
Neither one of us is awake right now, even with the time difference.
Exactly. As we get closer, we're both of us sort of looking at it, sort of, what the? That looks really. Is that a tower in that tree?
I mean,
or the remains of one, anyway.
That's a weird place for a tower, but you know what? I've seen a lot of buildings on trees lately.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's a ruin. It's not. I don't think anybody's actually living in it, but or whether you even could live in it underwater. But it definitely looks like that once was upon a time was a tower.
I mean, I guess we could go look.
Well, that is what we're supposed to be here for, isn't it? So,
like handing you the science stick.
Fine.
But he is putting. He's going out too.
Oh, good. That's all right then. Okay. So, We get all suited up again. Does the airlock hold 2?
Yeah, you're pretty sure that Breckett was just like messing with you on the airlock. So as we like get into that and we're looking out, Breckett notices that there's like glowing red dots, like multiple sets of them. And it's not just 2, it's like we're gonna say 7 sets, like each different space where you see these red dots. There's like 7 in a regular pattern. Like it's not the same pattern every time. It's not symmetrical in any way. It's just like a weird, vaguely unnerving, glowing set of red dots. Everything's fine. Breckett got a 5 on his examination, so let's see. 5 is okay. How it changes in some way. Yeah. So as we start to swim closer, what does this tower look like? What's it made out of?
It looks a bit to me as though it's made perhaps of coral or something like that.
Okay. Brackett's just like looking at it and notices that there's more glowing from inside of the coral, but this time it's just like a singular red dot, but it's pretty large, as we get up closer to it. But it seems to be fairly deep within this tower. And yeah, it totally doesn't make anybody nervous at all. Certainly not Breckett.
Well, no, of course not. So who's got the science stick, you or me?
Well, I did hand it to you.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Do you want me to go and poke it with the science stick, sir?
I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to, but for legal reasons, I can't tell you to go poke this one because I don't know what it is.
Okay. Well, you could always do it.
Listen, I don't have liability insurance right now. I'm fighting with the insurance company on that, so I'm good.
Fine. So Benet approaches and at the longest arm's distance that she can manage, sort of pokes the stick.
Okay.
At the coral.
Yeah. What happens?
The red glowy dot inside it suddenly gets much brighter, and the pulsing becomes much more noticeable and obvious.
That's probably fine.
Sir, I think we might have annoyed it. Whatever it is.
It turns out I'm kind of good at that. Believe it or not. I know that's a surprise. Total shock to everyone.
I would never imagine that happening. No, sir. Absolutely not.
You don't have to lie.
I told you, I'm busy making sure that I don't get put back in the horse box. Thank you very much.
Well, you can only withstand so much psychological torture. We do need you for work still, so
Oh, good. That's okay then.
We're really staffed right now, so like even though you're traumatized, can you please still come to work? It's basically a conversation that you got.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I can do that.
So as this like lights up and is pulsing, I feel like it starts to approach this red whatever it is. And Brackett's just like, I'm gonna go this way. there's a lot more
Yeah.
science direction.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. And we slow motion run.
I feel like as we're slow motion running, you see Breckett just like has his little like tablet device on his arm, and he's called the submersible over, and it just grabs us with its little pokey arm grabber things, so that we don't have to slow motion run. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like carries us off, and we get back in as we're further away. So, yeah, we don't need that.
No.
Yeah, Athamas, we have a crew of 25 now for a very large ship, obviously, because we've filled it full of animals and junk. So we're short staffed with 25.
Yeah, most of them aren't rangers. They're just animal keepers.
Some of them we have left on other planets. Some of them by choice. Some of them not so much. Totally fine. All right,
like you tried to do with me last time, but we're not going to talk about that.
I had my reasons. All right, so our third card, last one for this planet in theory, I got a 3, and it is the Ace of Spades. So Ace is in a field taller than you, and spades are natural phenomena. And you know what? Because I'm going to say maybe, since this is our last card, we did that one was still underwater. Maybe this is another field of underwater landweed. Like it's a very, very large field of it. And so we're just kind of like out and about doing our water walking, our water aerobics. Underwater aerobics, I guess I should say. When we suddenly spot like this almost looks like electricity crackling, and it's just like bouncing around the field, but it wasn't there whenever we got here. And it is this intense violet, like lightning.
Ugh.
But it doesn't feel like there's any kind of static electricity or anything that you might feel, if normally electricity were in the water. So it seems like either it's not electricity or it doesn't conduct through this water in the same way, potentially.
Okay.
You still have the stick?
Yeah. Why? Do you want it? Yeah.
No, you might want to put that away. I feel like as you're like trying to hand the stick off, the electricity just like leaps between us and singes the end of the stick a little bit.
Ugh.
Yeah, you should probably put that away.
Okay. Yes, I'm yes. And she immediately does. Hides it away in a one of the many pockets.
Yeah. All of our scuba suits have a science stick pocket, just in case.
Yep, absolutely. So
if you want to, yeah, if you want to examine it though, and we can see what else we learn about this weird lightning.
A 3.
3.
I'd want to add a detail I noticed about the feature.
Absolutely.
As we're looking at it, it seems to be following a pattern. It's not just random flashes that it looked like to begin with, but the longer you look at it, the more you realise there is some sort of order or pattern. That it starts off from one part and moves round regularly.
Are we accidentally standing on somebody's underwater neon sign? Is that what we're doing right now? Is this a billboard?
Yeah, I think it could be.
And Breckett,
because if you look, there's a bit in the middle that's sort of more or less, although it is electrical and it is crashing, it's more solid.
Yeah, so
So
Breckett is like swimming back to the ship. I guess running back to the ship. Not because he's in any kind of hurry, but that's just how you have to do when you're underwater. And then as we like back the ship up a little bit so we get some distance, we see that it makes like a giant donut shape. And there's some words, but it's taking a little bit for the babblefish to process. So let me see. I'm gonna use the internet to come up with a name because words are hard. I'm not awake. It can't always be Waffle House. I'm just gonna say it says in some alien language, Bob's Donuts.
Okay.
Turns out Bob is a universal name.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then it has an arrow just like pointing.
Do we follow the arrow?
I mean, I could go for some donuts. Space donuts. Sorry.
Well, as long as they're not made out of all this landweed stuff. I'm not sure they'd be tasty.
Landweed is delicious. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And it's only mildly psychedelic. Mildly. Says Breckett.
That changes my opinion about it quite a lot, actually.
Says Breckett, who definitely not recreationally use drugs ever. No. And probably does not have any kind of tolerance to them, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I would say we make our way. Somehow we missed. There is like a giant, like a hermit crab shell with the big spiral on it that we totally missed, despite the fact that it is lit up. Like there are more of these little lightning creatures just kind of dancing around. Weirdly, it seems like the theme here, they almost make the outline of like go-go dancers of varying different genders and species. And so yeah, it's a theme you wouldn't really expect for a donut shop necessarily. But I mean, like they said, sex sells, so you can probably sell some donuts.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. And Breckett's gonna just like walk right in.
Do they do swim through?
I mean, there's a lobby.
Okay.
Yeah, Breckett's just gonna like walk right up to it. There is, like restaurants used to have back in the day, like smoking and non-smoking. There's air and non-air.
Oh, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Can you get me a couple, please?
Are you not coming in?
No, go on then. I'll come in with you.
I mean, Rory's here too.
Oh, all right then. That's fine. Okay.
And Reggie, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so probably several other people from the crew as well just come in, and we take over the air section of Bob's for a little bit.
That's good. And I discovered that actually you're quite right. They are very yummy.
There are some that are made with underwater landweed, but there's also just like some regular donuts because it turns out donuts are also universal. It's basically space food.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
Really, aliens didn't teach people how to make the pyramids. What they did, though, is teach people how to make donuts. That's what they gave.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one really nice one that I like. It's a traditional one with the hole in the middle, but the icing is iced to make it look like the rings of Saturn.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I had one of those. Very nice.
And you see that Reggie has a very special one that they call it the gas giant because it is just like this enormous, essentially like a donut hole, and then it has this massive ring donut around it. That we're not really sure how the donut is floating around it, but it's almost like it has its own gravity, and it's just kind of floating in the air, and you see like Reggie's munching on it slowly.
Mm. That's going to take him a long time because it's almost bigger than he is.
Yeah, I mean,
he's only little, isn't he?
You do notice that like he's kind of going slowly at first. You look away, and then you look back, and it's all gone.
Yeah, that sounds like Reggie.
He's faster than he looks.
Yeah, clearly.
All right, well, that is this planet, and Breckett goes and like grabs a card off the desk, so that he can remember to come back here in the future.
Yeah.
And let's see how many we've got for this next planet. 1.
Yeah, fine.
If you would do me the honors.
Yeah. No, that doesn't help. A 1.
Okay. We've got the Jack of Hearts. And this is, in theory, the only one on this planet. So, Desert Ruins.
Desert Ruins.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, we arrive at the next planet. Couldn't really be more different from the one we've just left in that one was fully underwater. This one is completely dry and arid and just loads of desert stuff.
We don't even water from the atmosphere.
Okay. And as we're flying over looking to see where we're going to land, we notice these ruins. And we decide that we're going to land there. And whilst it's clear again that they are ruins, there is some sort of weird not quite fabric, but sort of I don't quite know how you describe it. Sort of silky kind of latticey type thing.
Okay.
Over the top of these ruins, as though something's been either spread over it or been layered over the top of it. Something. It's a bit weird, and it looks like there are points around the top of the ruin where it's anchored.
Vaguely spider-like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing I'm not arachnophobic, just amoebophobic.
Mm-hmm.
But
it might not be spiders. It might be, it could just be something else. I mean, it could be cotton candy.
What if it's amoeba spiders?
Ugh. Are there amoeba spiders?
Listen, there's a lot of space.
Yeah, I would not want to meet an amoeba spider. Thank you very much. Even though I adore amoebas and think that they're fascinating, I don't mention that.
You are entitled to your wrong opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Breckett's going to examine. I got 3, so let me see. What was that? Oh yeah, added detail. I will say, as we're like scoping this out, we see that there are hieroglyphs on these ruins, and they do seem to be depicting the evolution of amoebas. And we do see that there are some with legs. I think you may have spoken too soon.
Okay. I suppose one of us has to go and look at it, do we?
That's all you. You got this.
Excuse me. Okay, fine. And I do still have the science stick because I took it out of the suit pocket.
You didn't leave it in your other pants?
I didn't leave it in my other pants. I wish I had, but I didn't. My
Lesson
fault for
learned.
being too efficient.
Yeah, lesson learned.
Yes, absolutely. But so off I go. And I start off by just walking around these ruins to see if I can find a way in. Which I don't find an easy way in, but there does appear to be an opening sort of like 6 or so feet up.
You could totally reach that.
I could.
Brackett's not a math guy.
I reach up and put the science pokey stick in just to see what happens, if anything. And it appears to make contact with something that is very what's the word I'm looking for here? Squishy.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Not solid at all. Distinctly squishy.
Like the building was squishy, or there was just something squishy?
No, there's something just inside this opening that is squishy because I put to help. I'm sort of like this.
Right.
So I'm just getting the pointer into the gap. So it's not the wall. It's not the ruins. It's something in the ruins.
Breckett is like backing away kind of quickly, but not turning back to the ruins. And you see that Rory's like flown the drone over there, and it's got its little hands in there, and it's like starting to wedge the door open.
Okay. And as I'm sort of doing this with the I suddenly realise that actually something has got hold of the other end of it. And
R.I.P.
pulling against it. Or pulling against me, I should say. No, not quite R.I.P. Science Stick, because that would be very, very, very remiss. So as you're doing your backing off, you notice that I am now Benet is now in a full-on tug of war with something over the science stick. And at one point, she's got one foot on the floor and one foot up against the side of the building to give herself more purchase as she pulls. And eventually, just as you get back to the ship, there's one of those, extra hefty tugs, and she falls over backwards because the other thing up the other side lets go.
Right.
After which she sort of scrabbles back to her feet and starts following you very rapidly. But she has got her back to the ruins because she can't run very fast backwards.
That's fair.
And she feels the need to run very fast.
Yeah. From the drone, we can see that, like, as the door opens, there is definitely a massive amoeba that seems to be filling these ruins. And I don't picture them as being very small. And just like as the door opens, it starts to pour out, and it has tons of legs. Like, almost, we'll say like a millipede, if a millipede was an amoeba. And yeah, Breckett is already in the ship. You see that the ramp is like raising very, very quickly as you're running.
Again. I seem to recall this from last time.
You can probably make it.
Yeah, I'm running very fast. I am running very, very fast. Particularly since I can hear the sort of disgusting squelchy noises going on behind me.
Yeah.
That's a real incentive to shift my backside as fast as possible, please. And I just managed to catch hold of the very tip of the door before it shuts too far for me to be able to get myself back into the ship.
And Breckett grabs the science stick, which also conveniently helps you to get into the ship faster.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. But then as he wrenches it from your hands, he's just holding it really close. I'm like, oh, you're here. I'm glad you didn't die.
So am I. Thanks for waiting for me.
Listen, I don't like amoebas.
Yeah, I know.
And as we take off and we're leaving this planet, because Breckett's not going to stay on an amoeba planet.
No.
He's also making a phone call, and you hear something about space lasers. Pretty quickly, you see another ship comes in, and you just see lots of little lasers shooting down at the ruins. And yeah, that's the end of that story. As Breckett called in a tactical strike, basically, for this non-military organization. He's made some friends as the amoeba wars ramp up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you can't, as that's the thing. And I have no problem with that particular amoeba being blitzed off the planet, literally.
Let's see.
That had way too many legs for me. Thank you very much.
It is all about the legs, not about the amoeba.
Yeah, way too many legs.
I mean, we're currently at almost an hour, and I know we had a few minutes on the loading screen, so I'll leave it up to you, Liz, if we want to draw a few more or if we want to call it here.
I'm happy to do another one.
Absolutely.
See how we do.
I think this would be your role if you want to see how many cards we draw.
4.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Thought I lost my deck for a second. All right. That last one was your discovery, I believe?
No, it was yours. It's mine now. I went first. You went second. This is Planet 3.
Well, there was only the one card on that last planet.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. I'll do the interplanetary, and then I'll let you do the first card on the planet. I got a 5. Okay, so we have a meal together, and this is probably, other than Bob's Donuts, the first meal on the ship. Of course, it's noodles because that is the main staple food on our ship. After we adopted the Horny Bunny as a food truck inside of our spaceship. And Breckett's like, so...
It's actually quite a good idea.
I thought so. Makes us a lot of extra money. Breckett's just like, so about that amoeba thing, it's nothing personal. I wasn't trying to kill you, but I'm also not trying to get killed by an amoeba. So
that's okay. I can understand that. I can cope with that. That's fine.
Yeah, my amoeba senses were tingling, so I was ready to go.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Particularly given that it was a particularly disgusting version of an amoeba.
They're all pretty terrible, but yes. And we want to roll for our first discovery on this next planet. We'll see what we got.
A 1.
Okay. Arduous to get to. Another queen. This time, Queen Hearts. So, deep underwater and ruins.
We're finding an awful lot of ruins, aren't we?
It's almost like it's a 1 in 4 odd.
Oh, yeah. This is true. Yeah. Okay. So, we're back in the submersible.
Mhm.
Exploring this strangely coloured body of water. It's
Okay.
not the colour that you would normally expect water to be. There is an orange tinge to it. So
Brackett's just like, do you think this is like Space Fanta flavored?
it could be.
And he just like sticks Reggie out. Like as we're like flying the Griffin to get closer, we see that it's orange. Like sticks Reggie out and has him drink some of the water.
Mm-hmm. Is it?
You know, I didn't really think about that because Reggie can't tell us. So I don't know.
Well, he hasn't rolled over and lapsed into a unconsciousness, so it's probably not poison or anything like that.
Also seen him eat space trash though, so
Okay. Maybe best that we don't then try and drink it ourselves. You know, just to be on the safe side.
Probably,
yeah. But once we're underwater, you can see surprisingly clearly, and there is what looks like an underwater sort of mountainy type thing, which has appears to have a cave halfway up it, except that the cave is very clearly not the result of erosion. It's been built.
Sure.
But it looks very, very unloved and unlived in now.
I mean, that happens
It
a
does.
lot, weirdly.
Yeah. But it's quite a big thing, so we could probably, if we felt like it, get the submersible in it. If we felt like it.
This is when we really get into the Russian nesting dolls. But Brackett's like, actually, I have a better idea. And you see that there's essentially like the submarine version of a ski-doo or like a jet ski. Hello, Emily. Welcome.
Hi.
And so there's like probably more than 2 of them, but there's 2 of them that are convenient and ready to go. And the back airlock opens, and we're just like sucked out on these little ski-doo type things. They also, you know, much like jet ski do, where it shoots the little jet of water, it still does that for some reason, even though we're fully encapsulated. But they look like a jet ski, just with this bubble over you.
Yeah.
It's almost like somebody just took a jet ski and put some plastic over it.
Yeah. Put a cowling of some sort over it. That's fine. It does the job.
And let me roll to see what I notice. I got a 6, so how it changes in some way. Ooh. As we get closer to this cave, there appears in the water like this set of lights, almost like I can't even think what they're called, but the runway lights at an airport where it guides you in. It's kind of like that, where it's just a regular set of lights that seem to just be telling us to come in. So what do we see when we enter this cave?
Lots of neatly cut, but now very weathered because it's a ruin. Spaces of varying, regularly cut up the side and so on, but of varying sizes.
Is this like a garage?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly like a parking garage.
I didn't mean to cut you off. You started to say there are.
I was going to say there are hieroglyphs against each one, which the babblefish works out on numbers in some weird alien unknown script. So it's basically an underwater parking garage.
Interesting.
Or seems to be.
Neither one of us is a xenolinguist.
Yeah.
I feel like as we go in, let's see what our next card is, because maybe it'll be related. Okay. 2 of diamonds. Let's see, where's 2? 2 is under the light of the moon. Yeah. You did say that we could see pretty clearly, so we can, as we're entering this parking garage, we can see that the moon has come out. It makes a weird effect because we didn't really pay attention to what color the moon was from the atmosphere, but it looks green to us from here, and we're pretty sure that nothing was green, at least like the atmosphere wasn't greenish when we landed. But so as we're going in under the light of this green moon, let me see. Oh, living creature. There is sort of a humanoid crab creature. It has several different legs, but you see it's like motioning with one of its pincers. And it's weird because as you said, this is unloved. This is a ruin, but the lights work, and there's a parking attendant, it seems. So he's weirdly muscly. Like if you've ever seen SpongeBob, I think it's Larry. Maybe I think he's a lobster, but kind of along those same. So, but if Larry was a centaur for crab, like a crab centaur.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. And Brackett's just like, this guy's name is definitely Larry.
Yeah, it ought to be. I can't imagine why. I don't know why I feel like that, but I do. Yeah, that's absolutely what his name should be.
And oh, good.
I was just going to say, so do we? Presumably, we go out and talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, we're in our submersibles, and there's no oxygen in here. It's just the water. But as we kind of idle our little jet skis, you see that Breckett starts doing. I think it may have come up last time you were on, but if not, you've probably seen that he's done his interpretive dance of the pollen people.
Oh yeah.
It seems to be not a universal language, but pretty close. So you just see like he's sitting down and he's kind of doing this dance, and you can tell, even though neither of us is a xenolinguist, that he's like, "Is your name Larry?" ? But through dance. And the crab person dances back and is like, "Yeah, how'd you know?"
Fine. That's fine. Okay. So, Benet says to Breckett, "Yeah, you're right. That is confusing." Well, ask him what he's doing. Ask him why he's here.
Okay, and Breckett does, and Larry dances back, and he's like, "I just work here, man. I don't know."
But there are no other vehicles in here. Not
And
that I can see, anyway.
Larry
I
just
haven't.
around, and he's like,
Okay. Well, there's no point in us trying to park up because we can't get out of these submersibles, can we?
Yeah, Breckett dances to him and is like, "What's the parking for? Like, what's here?" And Breckett has no idea what his answer is because he's never seen that particular dance before. It's like he speaks a different dialect of dance. What is the? I think it's South American maybe the capoeira. It's like the dance fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of looks like that. And Breckett's like, I don't know what that means. And so we kind of, poke around. We like explore the garage, and there's nothing here. We can't tell like what the point is. But it almost seems like maybe Larry just wasn't telling us, or maybe he told us and we just didn't understand.
Yeah. I don't know. Not entirely sure there's much point in staying here, though.
Yeah, also, I saw the sign, and the parking's ridiculously expensive here, so that's terrifying.
Well, yeah, okay, fine, no. In that case, we go.
Yeah, Brackett's like, it was like
we're all right, because we haven't actually sat down inside any of the cubicles, so we haven't actually parked.
Exactly, we just drove around. Brackett's like, it's like 6 salmons to park here. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's ridiculous. No. No. I'm not even sure I have 6 salmons. No.
I don't know if I've ever seen 6 salmons.
No. So we head back to the main submersible.
Yep.
I think.
I'm trying to remember. Was that was your discovery? So it would be Breckett.
Yeah. And we cleverly used up 2 cards.
We did. I like doing that when we can. It doesn't always work, but so I got 5. So as we're resting, we've got the 2 of hearts. So still under the light of moon. And you know what? We're still underwater. Just because. We go back to the submersible. We're just kind of having a little siesta. And we do notice that there is, I'm going to say, we hear music. Because we are underwater, it has that like tinny kind of quality. It sounds really distant. But we can definitely hear it. And as we're looking around, we notice that there is what appears to be a circus tent not too far from where the parking garage was.
Oh. Okay. That makes more sense.
But it's also pretty run down, so I don't know why it's still there.
Okay. Do you know, that moon color really is weird. I'm sure it wasn't that color before we came down here. I wonder if it's the water that does it.
Maybe. I mean, it was a weird orange color, so.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So, are we going to go and examine?
I mean, we're here. We might as well.
3. I've got to add a detail I noticed.
I hope Bennett's not afraid of space underwater clowns.
That's a concept that Benet hasn't even ever thought of before. God. Oh, okay, fine. As we may head off towards the what looks like a big circus tent, Benet notices that there is a large continuous stream of bubbles coming out of the top of it.
A lot of gas.
That's a lot of gas, yeah. Which sort of makes you wonder what's making the gas, as well as what actually is the gas,
right?
Because it might not be air; it might be something else.
Probably totally fine.
Yeah, probably. I suppose I could go and stick the science stick into one of them and see what it thinks.
Well, we're still underwater though, so
Yeah.
we could just take the ski-doos.
Yeah, okay. It's fine. Do that. Yeah.
I feel like as we enter this giant circus tent, it is super dark, and not just because we're shaded from the light of the moon. It seems like it's unnaturally darker here. Like our headlamps don't get very far, and we do see a lot of obviously like clownfish skeletons, but they seem to be floating around as if they're alive.
Clownfish skeletons. Okay. But that kind of means something must have eaten them.
Or they just rotted away.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. In fact, that's probably more likely than them being eaten, because being eaten would leave bits on them, wouldn't it? Okay. Not entirely sure how I feel about this.
It's a little creepy, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite creepy indeed. And can I just? Do we know what month it is?
Breckett looks at his tablet. He's like, I think it is Spooktober. Because, in the future, in space, Spooktober is an actual month now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That makes me a little worried.
It's probably fine. Nothing bad ever happens during Spooktober.
Speak for yourself. Okay. So we head in a little bit further. Still with, our lights are, we can barely see like 2 feet in front of us.
Right.
And as we progress, all of a sudden, out of apparently nowhere, a fish that looks remarkably like a vampire bat comes flying down at us out of the darkness, and makes both of us jump like crazy.
Totally didn't bonk my head on the top of the submersible or anything.
Good for you. I did. Doing the smack my head right on the back of it. At which point Benet starts the I'm not entirely sure that it's a good idea for us to be here. I think we probably ought to try and leave if we are able to find the exit.
Yeah.
It's pitch black.
I feel like as we turn around, we see it resembles the myth of mermaids. But you can see it is partially decomposed. You can see, kind of like you were saying, there are bits left. More fleshy bits than skeleton. And it definitely has what appears to be very ruined old clown makeup on it. And it's holding a those goldfish bags that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like one of those where it's see-through and it's just full of like random teeth from all different kinds of things. Brackett's like, yeah, we should probably go. This is
I think so. I think yeah, okay.
Zombie clown tooth thing. No. I'm out.
No.
I'm out.
No, thank you. No. The problem now is that how do we manage to get ourselves out of here, given that we can't see anything and it's pitch black?
I feel like we probably do just kind of like zig and zag around, trying to find our way out before we eventually do. Probably get spooked a few more times in the process.
Yeah.
But eventually find our way back to the submersible.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And we've got one more card, if you would do the honors.
A 5.
Okay. We've got the King of Hearts. We're going to end on another ruin. And King is floating in the air, so I'm assuming we're going to be out of the water for this one.
Yeah. So we've made our way back up to the Griffin, and are resting and recuperating from being mightily spooked by the Halloween circus thing.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well, yeah, you can call it that if you like.
So what kind of ruin do we find floating?
We come upon what appears to be one of those like princess fantasy castle things floating on a cloud.
It's funny you say that because I had a very similar mental image.
So it's got all the pinnacles and the castle-y bits, but it's all in sort of pastel shades of pink and blue and yellow and that sort of thing. So it's a fantasy castle, a typical fantasy castle.
Very Easter vibes.
Yes.
If
The
Easter...
exact opposite of Spooktober. Yeah.
But you know what? Probably terrifying to some.
Indeed.
Let's see. Oh, I got another 5. Yeah, as we approach it, it looks very nice and wholesome, and a little bit run down. Probably more just from lack of use than it's falling apart or anything. But as we land, it's like everything changes. It does a 180, and it is very gloomy and gross. There's a lot of just darkness, and all of those pastel colors seem to have bled out, and it's just grayscale. Nothing but black, white, and gray.
Ew. Okay. Sir, are you seeing this too? Well, it's completely different.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I wasn't gonna say anything because it just felt too spooky.
But
I guess we should go in.
I suppose so. Yeah. In the interest of science, obviously. Oh, here, by the way, you can have the pointy stick this time, the science stick this time. I've had it so much.
Breckett just goes up to these massive doors that are half off of their hinges. They're just sort of loosely hanging there. And pokes one of them, and it just immediately collapses, almost crushing the both of us. But the door's open.
Okay, fine. Woo. So we go in?
After you.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that. Okay. So I make my way through this door, and we come into a huge, long hall with very high ceiling. And up in the ceiling, there are, or at least up in the air near the ceiling, are what look like a great many Those battery-powered candle things that you can get.
Yep.
They look like candles,
Mhm.
and they have a little flicker, but they're battery operated. It looks like there are a lot of those of various shapes and sizes that you can't tell because they're so far away. They're either floating or they're hanging from the ceiling.
Makes sense.
Something. But they don't seem to be creating very much light. So it's still dark and dingy down where we are.
Right.
But you can see that these things are near the ceiling.
Yeah, and as Breckett looks around, he notices that they're not human. Some sort of like other creature that we're not familiar. It has a very alien shape compared to ours, but you can't quite tell what it should have looked like because it's just skeletons.
Yeah.
And they just seem to be like going about their day, doing normal stuff. And Brackett's kind of like glancing around, and he notices there's a light switch on the wall. When he flicks it, the skeletons are still there. It's just a lot less creepy inside. It just looks like maybe somebody didn't turn the lights on.
No, that's a bit better. Okay.
Still a little spooky, but you know.
But they're all really busy, and they haven't noticed us at all.
Yeah, maybe we should go. I feel like we're interrupting.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think I want to actually do anything else that might make them actually notice us, because they might not like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say that, and like as we're walking out, Breckett like turns around at the doorway, is like, "Bye, skeletons."
All the skeletons' heads snap round to the doorway because you've spoken to them.
Right.
And immediately begin heading straight towards us at speed.
That's probably fine.
Ranger Bennett starts running very fast, immediately overtaking you, leaving you for dust. And stomps their way over all this stuff to get back to the ship. However, unlike certain other members of the crew, once she gets to the door, she stops and turns around and holds her arm out to help you get back on.
And you notice that Brackett's not running. There was quite a distance between us and the skeletons, so they are catching up. But as he just like gets closer, you see he looks down at his tablet, pushes a button, and then he just disappears. And you would have noticed that he just used the teleporter to get on board the ship.
Fine. Shame I don't have a button for that.
Yeah, you gotta tell.
Yeah.
There's Wi-Fi here though, so you know you have to do that when we get back to the station.
Okay, that's fine.
Now that we're getting the emails for real.
Yeah, that's fine. So am I forgiven then? I'm allowed to stay?
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing ever happened. Everything's fine.
Good. Okay, that's fine. If that's how you want to play it, that's absolutely fine with me. But I think we probably ought to leave because those skeletons are getting very, very close.
And you can't tell if Breckett has just like completely forgotten about what happened or if he's just like pretending as if he didn't. Yeah.
Trauma blocking.
Yeah. Knowing him, you know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah. Yes, Aphamus, we do occasionally get the email from HQ now. Gertrude still deletes 90% of them, but like 1 in 10 we get.
Fine.
Usually the ones with like coupons, not like mission details or anything. Mostly coupons.
Which is handy.
Yeah, but we're never close.
We might start getting some for Bob's Donuts now. Now that we have actually given it our patronage.
Yeah, you notice that Breckett is like on the phone, and you can hear that the babblefish is like translating some stuff. Not enough that you can make out what it's saying, but you can just kind of hear it. And then we have like I guess kind of like a teleporter, but it's just for small items. But sort of like banks have with the pneumatic tubes. And there's just like a little tube that comes through, and it's got a gigantic sticker. And before we leave the planet, you see Breckett goes out and puts like this great big Bob's Donuts sticker on the side of the ship.
I told you somebody would come to see what I was doing. Eventually.
It only took an hour and a half.
Yeah. We're on an hour and a half. Thank you.
But
it was good fun.
Anything that you want to plug before we head out?
Only the fact that Spooktober is for Everlife.
Extra Life.
Extra Life. Why did I call it Everlife?
Close enough.
Why did I call it that? Yeah. It's because I'm still in Fixius 5 mode from last night. Extra Life, yes. If you can spare $1 or $2, then that's really, really good. Thank you. Apart from that, no.
Okay. Yeah, and the other thing I would say is, don't forget we've got Backpacker's Guide tonight, and tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern is Kids on Bikes. So come watch and give us money, please.
Yes.
And I assume we're going to raid somebody. I don't know who yet. The Magic Academy just came online. We could always do that one. Black Road Gamers is also a great one to raid. So, yeah, stick around for the raid. And thank you for joining, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.